Hello, Bitcoin has moved up and here are my counts. So the very bullish scenario is counting this as a wave 1, 2, and then you're stacking 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 for 3 for 3, 3 for 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on, looking for way higher prices. The alternative to this is counting this as a 1, 2, and then 1 of a leading diagonal, ABC running flat, 1, 2 of a lower degree, and then you move up, 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on. There's another way to count this move as well. So this counts a little bit differently, like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave. 1, 2, and then a lower degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving up. The bearish scenarios are as follows. So ABC in a W, and then ABC in a wave X, and then A, B, and then C to complete a double zigzag like this, WXY in a wave C. And now you're looking for a downside. The alternative to this is just this structure to, as I mentioned before, that you can count this a little bit differently. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, like this. So what are the probabilities for these? The super bullish with the stacking of the 1-2s, this has a very much lower probability for me as of now because of the time here. You can see here wave 1 and 2, and this wave 1 is so much bigger than this wave 1, and then this wave 2 is so much bigger than this, and so on. So this has a very much lower probability just because of that, because you don't want to see this. You want to see in a 1, 2, 1, 2, you want to have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, smaller 1, 2s, but this is the opposite. You got a bigger 1, 2. So that is a telltale that this might be something else than a 1, 2. So this has a lower probability, at least in my counting. So then we move on to this. So 1, 2, 1, ABC, 2, 1, 2, perfectly viable. It's just important here that you don't make a new low after June 19th at 22. Because if you do, if you range like this and you make a new low, taking out the previous low, wherever that it may be, this has a very much lower probability just because of the time aspect. But time is never an invalidation, it's just a guideline. But as long as we don't do that, this is perfectly viable, but I'm keeping a close eye out on this time aspect. And also if we take out this, then it's the invalidation for this scenario. So the other way to count this, as I mentioned, is this, but this is not really my preferred count because 1, 2, 3, WXY, 4 here, you are breaking a guideline. It is a strong guideline. It's not a rule, but it's a strong guideline that you are breaking, which is not preferred. But nonetheless, it is still a viable count, but this has a wave 1 here, and then a very short wave 2, and then a wave 1 and a wave 2. And this is the same basically principle with the time as I mentioned before. Here you don't want to make a new low after June 17. So that affects this, the way you are counting this affects the time here, of course. And also here, the low probability wave 2 for this scenario, here at 64.034, you don't want to hit. And also you don't want to take out this is the invalidation for this bullish scenario. Because if we take out this on both of these I just mentioned, the bulls have a very, very low probability. So let's move on then to the bearish scenarios. Here, the ABC, you have an expanding diagonal here in a wave C, which is very rare, but this fits a bit better than the bullish scenarios as of now. So WX, and here we did not take out this yellow line, which is great for this scenario, which means that this has a higher probability of being correct. Then you have the ABC in a wave B here. A running flat is the most uncommon flat structures, but nonetheless it happens, and we got a pretty spiky move afterwards. So that fits with the running flat characteristics. Here you want to be over with this move or close to over, and now you are looking for a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and so on. So here you basically want to take out this. I should have noted that here. So if I do like a clean gray here, you want to change structure here. to signal that we are done with this. And if you are changing this structure, the bulls have a very low probability and the bears have a much higher probability. So this is an interest point I am looking at. But also the nature of how we get there is very important. If we get like a three-way structure or if we get like an impulsive move. Because if it's an impulse, then it's a higher probability that we are done over here. So the other possibility then, as I mentioned, is counting it like this. So this is just another way of getting here, and this has a lower probability, I would say, just because of the guideline being broken, and also the time here in wave B is very, very short. And also this is pretty important because here minimum target for wave 2 not reached, and what I mean by that is we did not hit 38.2, which is a more common target for a wave 2, but we did hit the 23.6 fib, and that is a more common target for a wave B. So that has a higher probability than that this is some sort of a B. And if this is a wave B, then it is a higher probability for the bulls that this is a wave 1 here, and then you have the ABC and running flat, and then you have 1, 2 like this. So because otherwise you would have like a 5 here, and then you have the 1 and the 2 here, and that is too short, and then is too shallow for a wave 2. But if we take a look then on the overall structure on the daily chart, how would this fit? So the bulls, they want to be done here, and then you want to move up here and you want to change the structure. Basically, that is what the bulls are looking for. The bears want to have at least one more low, and either if we get that in a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, an extended wave 5, and here you can see we still have some wiggle room for this extended wave 5, but you don't want to take out this 67997 because that is like I use it as an invalidation for a wave 4. And if we do take out this, then you have this possibility instead, counting it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave 3, 4, and then you're looking for a finishing wave 5. And the invalidation here is at 70.17.4.98. And this is a more common structure because an extended wave 5 is not the most common structure. This has a higher probability just because of that. But as you can see, we still have a lot of room to work with here. And I also mentioned here in my previous videos that we are looking for a new low. That would be a higher probability just in time because of this move down compared to this is a little bit too short. But we don't want to continue to range here over this. So we want to be done before June 24 because that is as I have written, the preferred absolute max time of wave 4. If we continue to range here, then this scenario is not longer relevant for me at least. So yeah, keep an eye out on these invalidation targets on the daily chart, and also keep an eye out on the local structure here on the 2-hour chart. The bulls are looking to keep above this line, and the bears want to break this line and change structure, preferably in an impulsive way, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, retracement, and then you move down. So yeah. If you found this analysis helpful, feel free to subscribe. And you can also find Elliott Wave resources at mellantrading.com. I'll see you in the next one.